Hey, it's Mick. Yeah, long time no see. I have an upcoming video where I'll go into more detail on this, though I don't know if this will come out first or that one, we'll see. But to sum up, I got a new job at a pizza place. As much as I love doing art and voiceover stuff, I'm not currently at a point where I can rely solely on that as an income source. So, yeah. But the downside of that, and anyone who works in retail knows what I'm talking about, not as much free time to work on my creative pursuits. At one point, I was trying to do a little bit of fan art on the last Friday of every month for my social media feeds, but I got so busy with work for a few months that was all I ever had time for. I eventually stopped because I wanted to make some headway on other, more original projects that I was more passionate about, and otherwise they might have never gotten done. Hey, editing Mick from the future here. Just want to take a second to clarify and correct something. First off, this episode was recorded a few months ago, so a lot of what I was saying at the time was true. However, after some time has passed, I'm starting to notice that my particular job at this pizza place has a lot of ebb and flow to it. Some weeks, yes, are very busy and it's hard to get any artwork done. But then there's weeks like this one, where I surprisingly have plenty of days off to go work on art projects, including making the thumbnails for this vlog and the next vlog. That said, everything else about my reasonings for starting this vlog and the idea behind it still stands. Alright, got that done and out of the way, now back to your regularly scheduled program. Those projects are still in the
They're on the poop deck. Hey, I better get to be swabbing the deck. Arr!
Sorry. Just felt the compulsion to become a pirate there. Sorry about that.
Actually, no, a pirate never apologizes. Arr!
Sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked. Those projects are still in the pipeline as we speak, and while I am happy some progress is finally being made on them, it is still slow progress. So they're gonna take quite some time to complete. A song and dance that's been heard on this channel a million times, I'm aware, but I guess that's what I get for being ambitious. But now, the gap between my uploads is getting larger and larger. That's a problem, and if I want more eyes on my feeds for when those projects are finally finished, I figured I should probably do something about that problem. But what? What's something short form that I could make quickly and simply to fill in the gaps and keep you guys entertained in the meantime? That isn't just fan art. Not that I don't enjoy that on occasion, I just don't want that to be the only thing I work on. Then, just randomly, out of the blue one night, I remembered a voice actor, Chris Neosi, or Kerbifer, who I used to follow for a while. On social media, to be clear, I wasn't stalking the guy. Anyway, I remembered that he made a series of short vlogs with just a static image that he drew himself, and was just sort of a random grab bag of topics that he felt like talking about, and some were viewer suggestions. And last I checked, he still does them to this day. So, this first episode is basically my version of that idea. Actually, now that I think about it, I did make some update videos in the past that included some big life events and New Year's resolutions. So I guess this sort of content isn't totally new on this channel, but yeah, I still think it's a good idea. The title of this series is actually twofold. One, it's a direct reference to the Deck of Many Things, a rather infamous item in Dungeons & Dragons, a game which I love. But it's also pretty much exactly what I want these videos to be about, many things. I'll be talking about some projects I'm working on sometimes, I'll be waxing philosophical about some things just because it's what's on my mind. Back when Facebook used to have notes, I would use them to write reviews of whatever movie, show, or game I was going through at the time. Old, new to me, didn't matter. If I watched it and had some thoughts on it, I would share it. So for any friends of mine from Facebook who remember those, I'll be doing some review type things here as well. Again, these'll just be whatever I feel like talking about. But for this first one, I feel like I should focus on one particular topic, which is not only apt for episode 1 of a series, but also something I'm probably long overdue to do on this particular channel. Introductions! Hey, it's Mick, long time no see, which might as well be my catchphrase now at this point. I am an artist and voice actor, though I haven't done much of the latter lately, something I'm hoping to change soon. Not no voice work to be clear, just not as much. But that's another reason I want to do these vlogs. It gives me an excuse to record more often, especially with my new microphone. Which, I don't know if you've noticed, I have a new microphone. Well, new for you guys, I've actually had this for maybe a year now. It's an E100S CAD XLR microphone. And it's my dream mic. It's a mic I've wanted for a really long time, and thanks to my day job, I finally have it. And it works like a dream, despite being used. Sadly, I don't think the company CAD makes this model anymore, so I consider myself lucky to have found it when I did. But anyway, I've been voice acting since 2011, though again, not as much lately. The two things that sparked my interest in voice acting was 1. Full Metal Alchemist, and in particular the English voice of Edward Elric, Vic Mignogna. And 2. A school project where I recorded myself having an interview, in quotation marks, with Leonardo da Vinci. It was terrible, but I was a teenager with little acting experience at the time. What was I expecting? But it was enough to give me a voice acting bug that stuck around with me for a long time. As a result, I started a YouTube channel, Mick Whitefire28, to do more of it. I used to do a lot of fan dubs and comic dubs, both for myself and others who I met in various online forums, but when I wanted to start working on more original and indie projects, I felt the need to start a new channel and rebrand myself, via the channel you're watching or listening to this right now. It might have been unnecessary in retrospect, but whatever at this point. It was during this transition that I fell back in love with my first love, drawing. When I was a kid, I drew a lot of characters in comics all the time. Some original characters, some fan art, especially a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's the character that got me started down this art rabbit hole in the first place. From there, I learned a lot from various books. If anyone knows of Chris Hart's various How to Draw manga books, that's where I started. I also learned by trying to copy from my favorite animated shows at the time, the various DCAU shows, Danny Phantom, and, again, Sonic, among many others. Which I may go over if I ever decide to do an episode on my creative influences, but I don't want to detour too much for this episode, so let's just put a pin in that for later. I would make these cartoons at home, during class with friends, mostly to entertain myself. If there was an option to do that for a class assignment or homework, I would do that. When my voice acting interest hit in high school, I never stopped drawing, but it did kind of take a back seat. That being said, it was around this time that I also found the book Making Comics by Scott McCloud, which really opened my eyes and sparked my interest with the craft of visual storytelling. Not just drawing cool stuff for the sake of it, but presenting it in a way that was actually compelling. Understanding how to guide the eyes on a page and keep people turning the pages to find out what happens next. That ultimately sums up what I'm all about, storytelling and presenting it in an interesting way. And while I enjoy doing that with audio and visual mediums separately, what I really want to do is, well, both, at the same time. Or at least, for the same projects. And one way to do that is animation, which I'm still pretty new to. And part of the reason for my late start is just lack of access to materials to actually animate when I was younger. I would make flipbooks as a kid, yes, and I think I even had part of an old animation book that taught squash and stretch. I wonder if I still have that in a drawer somewhere. But as far as animation software, there weren't a lot of options available to me growing up. Fewer still that were affordable. I think I had a demo of Anime Studio 5 at one point, but it was pretty limited at the time. Now, obviously, the landscape for animation has changed significantly these days, as all you really need to start animating nowadays is OpenToons, a free animation program, and an art tablet, or even your iPad or Android tablet, and you're good to go. As for myself, I'm currently learning through Clip Studio Paint EX, which ironically is what Anime Studio 5 would eventually evolve into, and going over exercises in the Animator's Survival Kit by Richard Williams. Which, man, I wish I knew about that book when I was younger. Especially in high school, which, quick sidebar, though this is related and somewhat relevant. My school had a 3D animation course, which I thought would be great, but ultimately it was a disappointing waste of time because it was focused more on using the Maya modeling software rather than going over any actual principles of animation. Nothing wrong with 3D graphics, it's just not what I was hoping to learn. The teacher was a dick too, constantly shutting down a lot of my more ambitious ideas for assignments. I mean, yes, we were limited to Maya, but considering we could import models off the web, I didn't see the issue with making an action short of a superhero fighting some armed mooks. I'm lucky I even got to do a Pac-Man short in that class, geez. But whatever. I got the Animator's Survival Kit and got the animation knowledge I was after. Eventually. Better late than never. The most I'm doing right now for animation is essentially animatics, storyboards with audio, like my Link video, or the Critical Role montage video I made. I want to do more of those in the near future, as I had a great time making them. It's just a matter of finding the time and the right inspiration. I will keep practicing my animation exercises in the meantime, though, and hey, once I get confident enough in my skills, maybe you'll see a full-on animated short from me in the future. But until then, animatics are probably all you'll see from me for a while, and any animation you do see in the meantime will probably be done by someone else who I did voice work for. But I digress. See, anything you guys should know about me without me giving out my home address? Je parle un peu de français. I'm not hardcore studying French right now, but I do try to keep maintenance on it through short but regular practice. But Japanese, I am definitely trying to dedicate plenty of time to studying it between projects and my day job. My progress so far? 1 alphabet down, 2 to go. And I know it'll be a while before I get to the last one, kanji, but I'm still intimidated by it. But like I said, it'll be a while before I need to worry about it. And as far as introductory facts about myself, I think that's all I can think of for right now, so I think I'll end this vlog here. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. Hopefully these are going to be something you'll see more regularly, but let's see how this goes first. Check the description or go to my channel page to find links to my social medias, and if you like what you see, give it a like and leave me a comment down below. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to stay up to date on my creative endeavors? And if you want to support me and my work, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye!